Summer has finally arrived, well, at least for Nintendo Switch users with the release of Splatoon 2. The original Splatoon for the Wii U only came out 2 years ago and was a huge success, so with the sequel coming out fairly early, does it stand up on its own and offer anything new, or is it simply just a rushed rehash in order to boost the Switch's sales? I'm happy to say that this is not the case, and the overall thought I've had throughout the making of this review is that it's familiar but fresh. So what does that mean exactly? The whole ethos of the game is that it's played online, and your Inkling, as they are called, teams up with 3 other players to fight 4 other players in various game modes, ranging from which team can spec the most turf, to taking control of a tower and bringing that towards the enemy base for the win. That's called tower control. There's something for everybody here. Not much has changed within these various modes, they're still pretty hectic and require different styles of play. You often get ranked with users that are near your level, so the matches should be fairly balanced and provide for a fun experience. And, as with the original, you level up, gain money and unlock new abilities for your gear each time you win, or lose. Again, this is mode dependent. Speaking of gear, there was what felt like an endless supply of clothing and weaponry at your disposal. This is still the case, but what has changed is the option to now customise your Inkling's hair, skin / eye colour and short style. Yes, shorts. Nintendo really knows how to satisfy their demographic. This is a really cool little feature and allows the user to express themselves a bit more freely. Going back to weapons, there are old favourites but there are also new ones. The Splat Jawlies have become a personal favourite of mine due to the rapid rate of fire and the cool new ability to dodge roll, adding a bit of edge on the battlefield. There's also been a mostly complete overhaul of the special attacks and the gear abilities. For example, Bubbler and Ink Strike have now been replaced with Ink Armour and Tenton missiles. How they differ from their former and current states in Wars is too early to tell at the moment, but it brings frequent and new players in line with each other to learn the new game mechanics. For a multiplayer focused game, I actually found Splatoon's single player campaign to be really impressive, and I'm happy to say that this is still the case in Splatoon 2. The storyline in the sequel mirrors that from the original. The Great Zapfish has been kidnapped by the Octarians, and it's up to the player to save it, and ink turf and enemies along the way. The levels and bosses are still as crazy as the original, and provides a great alternative to those who may have turfed a little bit too much online and fancy diving into the lore of Splatoon 2. There's also another new mode called Salmon Run, which effectively pairs you up with 3 other players to take down waves of enemies in the allotted time. Enemies range from fairly easy to the big bosses, which can be frustrating and hard to defeat if there is so much happening on the screen. Nevertheless, this was really fun, and for me, the single most standout feature of Splatoon 2. I got a sense of real teamwork from this mode, and it was a nice definition of the meaning of co-op gameplay. Splatoon 2 may be labelled as Splatoon 1.5 to some, but I feel it warrants enough to be a full-fledged sequel. I've so far made no fish or squid puns in this review, but that ends now. Splatoon 2 is incredible.